We're working to connect a region of over 600 mil bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and here are the headlines. Indonesia on Saturday called off the search for passengers of a Lion airplane almost 2 weeks after the jetliner plunged into the Java Sea, killing 189 people on board. Myanmar's government on Sunday insisted any delays to the repatriation of Rohingya refugees would be the fault of Bangladesh, just 4 days ahead of the controversial planned start date. Singapore's Prime Minister made an impassioned plea Monday for open markets and warned political pressures were driving countries apart in a swipe at rising protectionism at the start of gathering of world leaders. Indonesia on Saturday called off the search for passengers of a Lion airplane almost 2 weeks after the jetliner plunged into the Java Sea, killing 189 people on board. Some 196 bags containing body parts have been recovered from under the water, with 79 victims identified and handed over to their families for burial. Rescuers have also retrieved parts of the plane's engines, wheels, and seats from the sea. One diver died helping with search. Lion Air has begun paying $100,000 and $58,000 compensation money for each passenger to the grieving families. Indonesian National Transportation Safety Committee has received one of the black boxes, the flight data recorder, and is still hunting for the cockpit voice recorder, which recorded the last conversation between the pilot and co-pilot before the crash. The doomed jet was a Boeing 737 MAX 8, one of the world's newest and most advanced commercial passenger airplanes. And there is still no answer as to what caused the crash. The government has ordered a check on all Boeing 737 MAX 8 fleets and conducted a special audit on Lion Air management. The Transportation Ministry has also removed several executives and technical staff from the airline to help with the accident investigation. Myanmar's government on Sunday insisted any delays to the repatriation of Rohingya refugees would be the fault of Bangladesh. This just 4 days ahead of the controversial planned start date. After repeated setbacks, the neighboring countries declared that the first of more than 2,200 Rohingya Muslims would be repatriated on November 15, even though international NGOs and the United Nations have said conditions are not yet in place for a safe return. Survivors brought with them testimony of widespread murder, rape, torture, and arson, and are fearful of going back to Rakhine State without guarantees of safety, freedom of movement, and citizenship. Myanmar and Bangladesh signed the deal last November, but the UN has repeatedly said that any repatriations must be safe, dignified, and voluntary. Social Welfare Minister Win Myat Ai declared that they are ready. He added provisions at a transit camp will include clothes and food rations, and the refugees will also be provided with money to help them rebuild their homes in one of 42 locations. But he was unable to confirm who would be in the first group to return, insisting that it was down to Bangladesh to make sure they meet the deadline this week. He said it depends on the other country if the repatriations will start on November 15. Both governments have been pushing ahead with this first large-scale repatriation effort, pledging to bring back a total of 2,251 Rohingya at the rate of 150 individuals a day.
ဒီဒေသမှာနောက်တစ်ခါဒီလိုမျိုးထပ်မံပြီးတော့မဖြစ်ပွားအောင်ဆိုပြီးတော့ဆောင်ရွက်မှုတွေလည်းရှိနေပြီဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဘက်ကတော့အသင့်ဖြစ်တယ်လို့ကျွန်တော်အနေနဲ့ပြောချင်တာဖြစ်ပါတယ်
So it depends on the preparation on the Bangladesh side. So we try our best, and then Bangladesh also need to promote awareness among the people at the camps. So it's responsibility of both sides.
Singapore's Prime Minister made an impassioned plea Monday for open markets and warned political pressures were driving countries apart in a swipe at rising protectionism at the start of gatherings of world leaders. Leaders including Chinese Premier Li Keqiang and U.S. Vice President Mike Pence are meeting this week in the city-state against the backdrop of a months-long trade dispute between Beijing and Washington. Some of those attending are expected to announce major progress on a massive China-backed trade deal that excludes the U.S. in a rebuke to President Donald Trump's increasingly unilateralist approach to international commerce. Trump is skipping the annual summit, which was regularly attended by his predecessor Barack Obama, in a sign of how far he has withdrawn from attempts to shape the global rules of trade and raising new questions about Washington's commitment to Asia. Addressing a business forum ahead of this week's main meetings, Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong called for Southeast Asian companies to invest more in each other's markets and be more open to foreign competition. He said the more integrated and open their markets are, and the more conducive the rules and business environments to foreign investment, the larger the pie will grow and the more they will all benefit. The 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations has great potential, but fully realizing it depends on whether they choose to become more integrated and work resolutely towards this goal in a world where multilateralism is fraying under political pressures. The U.S.-China trade dispute has seen Trump slap higher tariffs on roughly half of Chinese imports, and Beijing retaliates with its own levies. The standoff is having an impact far beyond the world's top two economies, and leaders at the 4 days of meeting will be keen to voice their grievances to Pence, who is participating in Trump's place, and Lee. Many of those attending are expected to send a message in support of free trade by announcing major progress on the China-backed deal, the 16-member Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the ASEAN Economic Ministers and
ASEAN in Focus. We'll be right back.
Join the EBC Family Fun Run, November 18, 2018, at the Ciudad de Victoria Complex, Bulacan. Choose from race categories: 1.062 kilometer, 2.5 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and 9.55 kilometers. Registration is ongoing. For more details, log on to www.eaglenews.ph/EBC or call 784-7450, local 1162. You may also visit www.facebook.com/EBC Fun Run. EBC Family Fun Run.
This event was made possible with our major sponsors: Regent, Life's Simple Pleasures, RY Graphics and Print, Guyamax, the natural 4-in-1 super antioxidant with guayabano mangosteen, turmeric, and vitamin C. With the participation of ISUZU, your responsible partner for life, together building people, Mr. Gary Escobar. Salampas by Hisamitsu Philippines. Skechers Performance. White Glow, Australia's #1 teeth whitening system. Beldia, your strategic procurement partner. PRO ENERGY+ELECTROLYTES. Enjoying your passion never stops. And in partnership with Maligaya Development Corporation and Philippine Red Cross.
How will we keep the prices down?
Pero baka matulungan niyo ako dito. May kaibigan ako taga-Kapitolyo. Baka kilala niyo ho?
Welcome back. The gathering of the captains and movers of the construction industry, government policymakers, and foreign and domestic stakeholders at the 3rd Philippine Construction Industry Congress focused on relevant issues vital to the growth and sustainability of the Philippine construction industry. Held last November 8, 2018 at the Conrad Hotel Manila, key topics included the construction industry liberalization, various Philippine government infrastructure initiatives, infrastructure opportunities and delivery models, training and education, and ease of doing business. The proceedings will serve as inputs to the Philippine construction industry roadmap, the blueprint of the construction industry's progress. Lawrence Ziller, Executive Director of the Italian Chamber of Commerce, stressed that the construction business is one of the key sectors for the Chamber, as a lot of Italian contractors can bring know-how and technology into the country and work together with Filipino partners on several infrastructure projects. He said that in general, everyone agrees that liberalization is a good thing, but it has to be in a regulatory framework where reciprocity is guaranteed. On liberalization, the Department of Trade and Industry Secretary Ramon P. Lopez said that mindset right now is to liberalize as many sectors that can promote healthy competition for all industries. The DTI Secretary adds in his keynote speech that among the 4 subsectors of industry, construction posted the highest growth rate at 11.5%, more than doubled its 2017 growth of 5.3%. He cited cement and steel demand that have been posting double-digit growth in the past 5 years. Incumbents are ready to do battle with the future 3rd telco player, bracing themselves for the expected cash burns and the project tempering of revenue growth, as the newcomer is expected to compete through a price war. For Fixed Line King PLDT Incorporated Chairman Manuel V. Pangilinan said his group is prepared to spend as much as 60 billion pesos in capital expenditures to further improve its network, especially since it is now piloting its first 5G initiative. He says it will probably be similar to the 2018 capex, around 58 billion pesos to 60 billion pesos, most likely. For Mobile Titan Globe Telecom Incorporated, spokesman Yolanda C. Crisanto said her group has reached a certain scale in terms of capital outlay, setting aside 32% of revenues for capital in 2018 alone. Crisanto said cash burns have always been along that level in terms of projections. Our capital expenditures have always been for improving our network. The two officials were responding to a Fitch Ratings note that predicted that the 3rd telco initiative will raise the capex pressure on the incumbents, as the provisional 3rd telco player barred its commitments over the next 5 years. Aside from this, Fitch also expects this to temper revenue growth for both companies, as the 3rd telco player is presumed to enter the market through a price war as it strives to grab market share in an already highly saturated mobile market. Pangilinan noted that his group has yet to determine how big the impact is of the 3rd telco player in the company's top line, but noted that the impact of the 3rd player will not be significant in the first year. They say they're quite optimistic for 2019, but of course, they can conjure up something that will be new or creative, so they'll just have to be able to respond to that. Pangilinan said his group does not see the 3rd telco up and running by 2019, as it takes a full year for a telco to set up as much as 300 cell towers. Together, the two incumbents have roughly 15,000 towers in operation. Crisanto said it already expects the 3rd telco to enter the market with low prices to squeeze out market share. Ms. Laurel emerged as the provincial 3rd telco player after 2 other bidders, Sear Telecommunications Incorporated and Philippine Telegraph and Telephone Corporate, were disqualified for submitting incomplete requirements. Led by Davao-based businessman Dennis A. Ui's Udana Corp, China Telecom, and Chelsea Logistics Holding Corporation, Ms. Latel Consortium will be using the congressional franchise of Mindanao Islamic Telephone Company Incorporated. Its bid will still be evaluated and is expected to be challenged by the disqualified parties. Listed snack manufacturer Universal Robina Corporation, or URC, has entered into a 5 million peso sustainable potato program partnership with the Department of Agriculture that seeks to improve local output and cut dependency on imports. On Thursday, URC turned over 135 metric tons of high-quality potato seeds to the DA and its partner Farmers Cooperative, which could cover about 62 hectares of land. The seeds are expected to yield about 2,700 MT of potatoes every production cycle. The volume of seeds is enough to last for 4 production cycles, or about 2 years, according to URC President and CEO Erwin C. Lee. Lee adds this initiative advances their multi-stakeholder sustainability agenda to accelerate the local potato farming community's full economic, social, and environmental benefits. Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel F. Piñol said the donation of the URC is an act of goodwill as the government allows the food firm to import chipping potatoes, a variety of the root crop that is not grown locally due to unsuitability. Nonetheless, Piñol thanked URC for the initiative as it is the first company to do this for the agriculture sector. He emphasized that the local farm sector needs high-quality seeds to have higher and better produce, such as what the URC donated. With 630 million consumers and 2.55 million trillion US dollars in 2016, expected to become the 4th largest economy in the world by 2030, AEC is believed to bring great opportunities to regional enterprises, according to Nguyen Thi Thuan, deputy head of the Central Institute of Economic Management. What AEC can bring is not only the 630 million consumer market, but also opportunities to approach other markets thanks to FTAs between AEC and its partners, including ASEAN, South Korea, ASEAN Japan, and ASEAN China FTAs. According to the HCMC Industry and Trade Department Director Pham Thanh Kien, to date, Vietnam has slashed import tariffs for 10,000 tax lines to 0 to 5% within the framework of ATIGA, or ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, or 98% of total tax lines. According to the HCMC Industry and Trade Department Director Pham Thanh Kien, to date, Vietnam has slashed import tariffs on 10,000 tax lines to 0 to 5% within the framework of ATIGA, or 98% of total tax lines. The ATIGA membership allows Vietnamese enterprises to have bigger opportunities to export their advantageous products such as agricultural, forestry, and seafood products. In the first 9 months of 2018, Vietnam exported $3.1 billion worth of vegetables and fruits. However, as CM reported, Vietnam's total turnover from the exports to the region just accounted for 9.8% of total export turnover in 2016. The proportion of Vietnamese exports to ASEAN in 2017 increased to 11%, while the figure was 24% for ASEAN countries on average. Kien explained that in 2015 to 2017, the exports from HCMC to ASEAN increased every year, but the increase was insignificant after the formation of AEC. This shows the low capability of Vietnamese enterprises to exploit the tariff cuts to boost their exports. More news when ASEAN in Focus returns.
Join the EBC Family Fun Run, November 18, 2018, at the Ciudad de Victoria Complex, Bulacan. Choose from race categories: 1.062 kilometer, 2.5 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and 9.55 kilometers. Registration is ongoing. For more details, log on to www.eaglenews.ph/EBC Fun Run or call 784-7450, local 1162. You may also visit www.facebook.com/EBC Fun Run. EBC Family Fun Run.
This event was made possible with our sponsors: Guyamex, the natural 4-in-1 super antioxidant with guayabano mangosteen, turmeric, and vitamin C. Skechers Performance, White Glow, Australia's #1 teeth whitening system. Beldia, your strategic procurement partner. Blue Pro ENERGY+ELECTROLYTES, enjoying your passion never stops. And in partnership with Maligaya Development Corporation and Philippine Red Cross.
Welcome back. Malaysian star Lee Chong-wei Thursday said he plans to return to badminton after successful treatment for nose cancer, insisting he had no intention of retiring. The ex-world #1 said he could resume training as early as next month and was targeting a competitive comeback at the All England Open in March. The three-time Olympic silver medalist was making his first public appearance since his shock diagnosis was announced in September. Lee, who returned from treatment in Taiwan last month, said it was his dream to play in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which would be his 5th Summer Games. The player, however, conceded that if his health does not improve enough, he may have to hang up his racket. Lee said that he underwent over 30 sessions of treatment at the hands of 7 doctors. He said they have given him a clean bill of health and has regained 3 kilos since coming home. Nose cancer is perhaps the biggest blow suffered by Lee, who was banned after testing positive for a prescribed anti-inflammatory at the 2014 World Championship.
And actually, this condition, well, I think the qualified is true, no problem for me. Yeah, I'm much confident myself, and more important now is my health, right? And just recover first, and just how the doctor said I can come back, and when I can come back, I want to come back to court first. Yeah.
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco, and I am 1 with 25.